got a new batch of samples. Everyone asked me, but these are basically from Small Aromas. All of these, in fact, are from Small Aromas. They're a UK-based decant and sample shop, and they're really reliable. They're quite good at getting new stuff in, and they have a real range of perfumes from like super niche and expensive to really affordable. Middle Eastern and celeb perfumes. These are mainly Middle Eastern and celeb perfumes, and there's maybe like one or two other things thrown in. They're just things I specifically wanted to smell. So I'm going to take this away and then we're going to go through one by one. So first up, we have this one. This is Latafa, Her Confession. And this is a dupe of Blanche Bete. So I have a sample of Blanche Bete. I think I probably also bought that one from Small Aromas, to be honest. I'm quite a loyal customer. So Blanche Bete is it was so hyped up a while back. People think of it as being quite an angelic perfume. I kind of know what they mean. I've never really smelled anything that smells exactly like it. I have a couple of things that I would put personally in the same category. I've got Lolita Lempicka, Mon Petite. That's like an almond and marshmallow, and I think it's like maybe Angelica or something like that, like an interesting kind of green floral. That one's kind of really soothing. It does actually have some crossovers with this, although it doesn't smell exactly the same. And then I have Jean en Provence, Ombre d'Armandier or something like that, I think it's called. And that one is another kind of light orange blossom and almond perfume. It's like slightly milky. It's really skin scenty, but it's very clean, fresh. That both of those are quite musky. So I did kind of like Blanche Bete. I didn't love it. There's definitely some aroma chemicals in it that I'm not crazy for. And I don't get a super sweet and milky feel from Blanche Bete or like a vanillic feel or anything. For me, it's just a very slightly lactonic, tuberose, well, just generally floral musk. And I do think it's really pretty, but I was like, I mean, it was so expensive. There was no way I would even consider buying the original. So I thought it'd be fun to test out some dupes. Now, Latafa, Her Confession, I'll just give you the notes. This is mystical and cinnamon in the top. The mid notes are tuberose, incense, jasmine, and mahonial. And then the base notes are vanilla, tonka, and musk. Now, if I get up the original Blanche Bete, we can have a comparison with the notes. I'm going to put everything over on this side so you can see it. So, I mean, it's a pretty close dupe, I'd say. So we've got milk, ambrette, and mystical in the top of the original Blanche Bete. We've got tuberose, jasmine, incense, and mahonial. And then the base notes, vanilla, musk, tonka, and cacao. Now, mahonial, I think that's a imaginary floral. Let's have a look. Yeah. I'm just having a quick scroll to see what it's in. Yeah, I was going to say, I smelt it in white tea, Elizabeth Arden white tea. It's in the Eau Fraiche. And it's also in the green tea coconut breeze. Both of those are really pretty perfumes. It's not in a huge amount of stuff. And then if we click on mystical, this is some kind of synthetic. It says natural and synthetic, popular and weird. That's not really very helpful in terms of what it smells like, but it's really only in Blanche Bete and Amarage stuff and dupes of Blanche Bete. So this one, firstly, I hate the bottle. I think it's so, I mean, if you like kitsch bottles, I get it, right? They're really over the top. It's kind of sculptural, but I do think that Latafa bottles sometimes are completely out of control to the point where they're beyond tacky. And that's obviously a personal thing, but I'm not sad that this didn't work for me because the bottle is nasty. And let me just show you something. So this I had to put in a plastic, like literally a little plastic thing, a little plastic container, because this perfume it's very strong. I think it's probably stronger than the original Blanche Bete. The projection on it fills a room, and also it's just a headache in a bottle. There is something in here that is so painful to my nose and my head. When I sprayed it at first, I was like, oh, it does kind of smell like Blanche Bete. That's pretty good. And then it just became absolutely overwhelming. It wasn't even on my skin. It was just on the paper. There's literally no way in hell I can put this on my skin because my room, and it's a decent sized room. I had to put it in the plastic because it was absolutely giving me a headache just from one squirt on a piece of paper from a tiny sprayer. So yeah, this does smell like Blanche Bete, but I don't like it at all. I only have one perfume from Latafa because generally speaking, most perfumes from Latafa give me a headache, or they smell like tar. But yeah, her Confession is just a pure headache, so that one is not for me. But the good news is I got another dupe of Blanche Bete, which is a Paris Corner perfume, and it's called Taskeen Lactéa Divina. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You can see it's got a deeper colour. I know Blanche Bete gets a bit darker as well in the bottles. So this one lists notes of incense, cacao in the top, mid notes of tuberose and jasmine, base notes milk, vanilla and tonka bean. And I'm actually wearing this one today. So this one is not a headache in a bottle. It's not as strong. It's much more subtle. It's really pretty. It is quite close, I would say, to the original Blanche Bete. It's not identical, I don't think. I don't really get as much cacao in this one. I could get a sense of the cacao in the original, but this is a very pretty floral musk with just a hint of something milky in there. And it's a little bit sweet, but it's not super sweet. This is definitely in the neck of the woods of me just finding it to be a comfy, kind of slightly fresh floral musk. And I do have a few of those, like I said, and I do like them. And they're the kind of things that I tend to put on a Saturday morning. They're like clean and fresh, but they're still quite feminine. So yeah, I actually really like this one. I'm going to see how I feel about wearing like this sample. And it's one that I could almost even consider adding to my collection. And I would definitely recommend this if you really don't want to spend loads of money on Blanche Bete, because it's a very expensive perfume. I mean, it is original. It definitely is original because it's got that hint of something incensey and smoky in there as well, which is really interesting. But it's not bombastic, not on me anyway. Um, and it's just such a lot of money for something that is sort of like a very fancy skin scent. I think some people think it's a beast, but for me, when I've tried Blanche Bete, and it's the same with this, I can smell it on myself when I move around. And it does last for a really long time, but I don't think there's a big scent bubble going on here, not for me personally. Maybe other people get that with the original. If you want a massive scent bubble, then the Latafa Her Confession is the one to go for. But yeah, this one, I really think this is a good perfume. I think it's great, in fact. So I think that's a really, really good alternative to Blanche Bete. It's a really good one. Paris Corner do some really good perfumes. I've got some more coming up now. So next up we have Paris Corner, and this is Marshmallow Blush. You'll be seeing the bottle over here. I don't like this bottle very much. Do you know the funny thing is, if it didn't have the gold bit around the top, I would absolutely love this bottle. And maybe not that particular font either, but I love the kind of marble look of it, and I love the round lid. I just don't like all the gold. It's like there's always just a one step too far. So this, I'm absolutely sure, is a dupe of the Khair. What's it called? Is it Bougie Marshmallow? Yum Bougie Marshmallow, which is a perfume that, again, I had a sample of. Also, I think from Small. I'm not sponsored by Small Aromas at all, and these weren't free. I always pay for it. Like I said, I just think they're a good company. So when I tested the Khair, it definitely gave me a headache, and just from one spray on my arm. It's very classic Khair in that there's something nice about it, especially when I first spray it, and then the more it dries down, the more it just turns into a headache, and it just turns chemically. Nearly all of her perfumes turn chemically on me, and even on paper to my nose. There's just a house DNA there that I don't get on with. But it smells like strawberry Nesquik, the powdered milkshake mix, the strawberry milkshake mix. And this is the same. This smells like Nesquik to me, but I feel like maybe there's not quite as much ambroxan here as there is in the Yum Bougie Marshmallow. So this is strawberry, raspberry, and lemon in the top, mid notes ambroxan and orange blossom, base notes marshmallow and musk. So if we have a look at the Khair, I imagine it's probably quite similar notes, although there's definitely lemon in here as well. I can smell it. Let me see. Oh yeah, see, lemon. I can smell lemon. So top notes of the original is freesia, Italian lemon, nectarine blossom and apple. Mid notes, marshmallow, strawberry, coconut, orange blossom. Base notes, whipped cream, sugar, vanilla, musk, raspberry and ambroxan. So I imagine this, I imagine this pretty much has exactly the same notes because they smell really similar. But I don't know if it's because maybe ambroxan is in the mid notes here and not in the base, that it's not bothering me as much as that one. So, I mean, this is just fun. I feel like this is just going to be a good little sample that I keep around. And maybe I wear, if like, it would be perfect for a fancy dress if I'm going dressed up like super girly, or a strawberry shortcake or something. Because I think this one's actually quite nice. Yeah, it totally, it really smells like maybe a slightly tangier version of a powdered strawberry milkshake. Yeah. So obviously the powderiness is coming from that marshmallow, so it's kind of fun. It's not something I'd want a bottle of, but just because it's not my kind of perfume generally speaking. But it's definitely a fun one, and I prefer this to the Khair. I really do. So we've got a celeb one now. This is not a dupe. This is just Sabrina Carpenter's most recent Sweet Tooth. This is Me Espresso, or at least I think it's her most recent one. I mean, it's very possible another one will come out because they really have been coming out thick and fast since the first one. Let's see. Oh, I mean, it feels like only about 3 weeks ago that the cherry one came out, but this one, oh, there is something here, and in fact, I can tell you it's the biscuit. The biscuit note here makes me feel so sick. It's got this, it's almost like, I mean, I say it, I think, quite a lot. It smells like stale towels or something. Oh, God. Oh, I find this so nasty, like really nasty. It's floral, but it's also gourmand and it's very sickly, and I don't get it. I mean, I have to say, this is one that definitely becomes less offensive to me as it dries down. It just starts out so aggressively biscuity that, ugh, it's really not for me. I don't understand this one. It also reminds me of something, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. If I look at the comparisons, it's got Private Show by Britney Spears. No, I don't get that at all. I don't even think it massively smells like the other Sweet Tooth perfumes. Maybe a tiny bit, but oh, that biscuitiness is wrong. It's still there at the moment, like it just isn't going. So there is a tanginess, which I'm assuming is coming from that espresso. And it's just biscuit, flowers, and caramel is what I'm really getting, with some kind of tangy bitterness from the coffee. But it's not, it doesn't work. There's something here that feels like it's really badly blended. I just This is the worst of the range for me. I don't like the second one because it's got too much patchouli in it. The cherry one was kind of nice, but a bit sickly again. It's kind of nice, but it's not amazing. This one is the first one that I smelt that I thought was genuinely nasty. Yeah, the coffee's getting stronger the more it's drying down, but that biscuit is a mistake. And with the florals as well. This is not for me. This one's just not for me. So yeah. Sweet Tooth Espresso, Me Espresso. No, thank you. Thanks, Sabrina Carpenter. I think you're really cute, and I really love Bed Chem. I think that song's awesome. So next up, we've got French Avenue's Coconut Leche. So this one is another bottle that I'm not crazy for, but it's not Latafa levels of madness. So this is top notes of coconut, mid notes tuberose, base notes vanilla and benzoin. I bought it purely because, to be honest, like I wanted free postage, so I wanted to add something else in. And I didn't really know if it was a dupe of anything. I just thought it would be fun to smell it. So this one, I'm not mad for this. It's kind of strange. I mean, I'd almost suggest that someone was trying to make a version of something like Blanche Bete, but with a coconut note. Um, It's sweeter. The only thing I've smelt that I really can compare to this one, although it's definitely not the same, but it's in a similar realm, is the Sarah Jessica Parker SJP NYC Crush. And what was the other one called? There were two. There's two different versions of that Crush one. But this almost has something in it that smells smoky to me. It's almost got a kind of rubbery, plasticky smell. That might just be an aroma chemical, or it could be, I mean, it could actually be some kind of incense. So it, like I said, it could actually be some kind of coconut take on Blanche Bete. Pure Crush, that's what it's called. That's what it's called. But yeah, this has a weird smell in the background, or it almost could be like leather or suede, or so just something giving that slight smoky edge, because I don't get that from benzoin. Yeah, I don't really like this one. This is not for me. I don't love it, and I can't see anything it's compared to that I think it smells like. They've got Juliet Has a Gun. I think that's Sunny Side Up, and I'm not getting this from this, if you see what I mean. Coconut from the Body Shop, no, I don't think so. Creme Brulee by Theodoros Kalatinas. I've not smelt that, but more people think it doesn't smell like that than people who think it does. So yeah, I don't really like this one. There's definitely, yeah, there's something off-putting and chemically and smoky it doesn't smell smoky in a good way. It smells smoky in a bad aroma chemical way. So yeah, I don't like that one. That's not for me. Then we've got another one from Paris Corner. This is called Voux Patisserie. This one, I kind of got this one. This isn't really the one that I wanted to smell. There's another one in this style of bottle that's supposed to smell like, what's it called? Lyra. It's called, I think that was Voux Zest, but they didn't have that one. I thought I might as well try this one, because I think this might have apricot in it. I'm just going to have a look. Oh, it's not apricot, it's tangerine. So the notes in Voux Patisserie, and you can tell like the bottles are supposed to look a little bit like the Xerjoff. Is it not Casmarati? I can't remember what the bottles are, but some of the Xerjoff bottles. So this is cardamom, tangerine and saffron in the top, mid notes of rose and apple, base notes vanilla and sandalwood. So it's compared to one of the Casmaratis though from Xerjoff. And this is compared to Italica. So I don't actually have Italica. I have a dupe house, like sample of a dupe house clone of that. And it's quite nice. I quite like it. This one I find tangier than the clone I have. And it smells quite a little bit aggressively chemically. It definitely smells to me more apricot-y. And it does have a little bit of the kind of, what's it called? The Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Gum kind of vibe to it, a little bit. So I can definitely see that where they're coming from with this, and I can see that this is supposed to be a dupe of that perfume. But I'm not sure they've entirely nailed this one, but it is like a much fruitier interpretation. I think it's okay. I don't mind it. It definitely has like a really interesting bunch of fruity notes with something kind of slightly gourmand, and you can tell it is a little bit of a kind of pastry vibe. But there's something in here that is kind of headachy to me. There's something in here that is a bit screechy, and I'm sure is going to give me a headache. Just smelling it from the paper, I'm feeling a bit meh. But I also think it's quite a nice smell, which is why I'll keep going back to smell it. You're definitely getting the spices. You're definitely getting the apple and tangerine. I'm not really sensing a huge amount of rose. I'm not getting tons of vanilla, although it is sweet. But I feel like that toffee and, the kind of the sweeter notes from Italica are definitely in this one. I think there's just more fruit here. But yeah, if you're looking for an Italica dupe, then this is pretty good, I'd say. I think it's actually really pretty. So I couldn't wear it myself, but it is a good one. Next up, Billie Eilish, Your Turn. This is also in a bit of a unwieldy bottle. I kind of like these more geometric shapes, so the dice thing's kind of cute, although it looks like it's going to take up so much space. Like, it's not one I'd want in my collection, really, which is lucky, because, you know, I don't like this perfume. I think it's so chemically and sharp and screechy, and to me really quite, I think this is supposed to be unisex, but this is, to me, a bit more masculine. It has elements in there that I know that I would normally like. So, for instance, it's got cardamom and ginger. I like that. I don't like the jasmine that's in here. The peach I'm not keen on, and it's got loads of Isoe Super. It's just... So it's compared to Santal 33, but I think that's a bit of an insult to Santal 33 myself. But I mean, it's that neck of the woods, of course. It's got a little bit of that. The new Glossier U, that's the sandalwoody perfume. Although, I mean, I don't like the dry down of that because it has the tarry aroma chemical that I don't like. But I do think the Glossier U one's much nicer. This has a sharpness to it that I don't enjoy. I'm just looking at what else this has been compared to. A lot of stuff that I don't really like. Philosophus, absolutely not. Doesn't smell anything like Philosophus. I don't think it smells a huge amount like her second one either. One of her boob bottles, the one in the really dark bottle. A little bit, but not really. No. It's compared to one of the more recent Jennifer Lopez ones, but I just don't like this. I've not really seen people talking about this one. It'd be interesting to see what people have said about it. Lots of people like it. Oh, some people have said repetitive cardamom sandalwood. Okay. Oh dear. Oh no. Her fragrances get worse with every release. I mean, I don't want to sound rude, but I mean, I kind of agree with that. But no, there's not really anything here that is pulling me in. It's just, it doesn't smell original. It's not particularly interesting. It's not at all feminine, which isn't like a problem in itself. But for me personally, I don't wear perfumes that I think lean too far into the masculine direction. And not unless there's something very interesting about it. So, for instance, like, I love Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker. Lots of people find that quite masculine, but I think there's magic in that, and it doesn't smell like a kind of screechy aroma chemically mess. So absolutely not loving Billie Eilish, Your Turn. That is not for me. Now then, I was really interested to smell this one because Paris Corner Khair Felicity is a dupe of the Kayali one that everyone talks about being amazing, and that when I smelt it, I was like, no, this smells like tar. I could smell that there was something beautiful in the Wedding Silk Santal when I got the sample of it. But personally, I much preferred the, what's it called? The Velvet Santal, the one that was for her husband, although that is unisex, because that one kind of smelled a bit like Montguerlain. It had that kind of feel about it. But yeah, the Silk Santal, beautiful effervescent champagne with some lovely kind of slightly peachy fruity scents that then dried down into something with a hint of Baccarat Rouge, you know, that kind of general sweet, pretty, slightly sugary scent. Now, the dry down was just pure aroma chemically tar, which I get in quite a lot of the Kayali perfumes. It was really not for me. I don't know if it's that amberwood. I don't know if it's like some kind of aroma chemical that kind of just makes things last for ages on your skin, but it just was not for me. So I thought it would be really interesting to see how this Khair one ended up smelling. The notes listed for this are champagne, freesia and cassis in the top, mid notes of jasmine, musk, may rose, base notes sugar, vanilla and musk. It does smell a bit like the thing it's duping, and it also, unfortunately, smells a bit like the dry down, which is that it just turns sweet. It's still a bit tangy, gently floral, a little bit musky, with a huge amount of Atari aroma chemical in it. So yeah, this was a real scrubber for me. I tried it on my skin and I was like, that was a mistake. So I mean, this is a decent dupe. I don't think this smells exactly like it though. I'm not getting from this the same kind of fluffy sweetness in the dry down that I got from the original, but that might just be my skin. If you can't get the Silk Santal, I feel like it sells out all the time. I think it was supposed to be limited edition. It's quite expensive. It's definitely worth trying this one, but yeah, I mean, I didn't really love the original, so I was just hoping I might get to smell what other people smell in that one. But this is also duped the aroma chemicals in the original, so this doesn't work for me either. Next up is one that I've been hearing about for absolutely years. This is the Seven Virtues Vanilla Woods. And this is interesting because this does not smell how I was expecting it to smell. And looking at the notes now, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I see. But I wanted to smell it for ages because now I remember it has pear and rose in it, and I was wanting to find something that was less aroma chemically, but smelled a little bit like God Is a Woman from Ariana Grande. I really like that scent. But I think one of the things I like about that is that there isn't loads of vanilla in it. So, you know, this is always going to be a bit risky when there's a lot of fruit and flowers with a noticeable vanilla. But I thought this might be woody. That's what I was expecting, right? It's called Vanilla Woods. So I was not expecting the caramel, and the caramel's throwing me off a bit. So this has pear in the top, rose in the mid, and then the base says vanilla, caramel, and amber. There isn't any wood noted. So I was really confused about it. If I look at what this is compared to, I mean, it has got an Ariana here, which is Mod Vanilla. That's one that had so much of the tarry aroma chemical in it that I couldn't wear it, but it's a shame because I feel like that perfume would have been quite nice without that. I might have quite liked it. This doesn't really smell like God Is a Woman to me because of that strong vanilla, but I do feel like I've smelt it before. And I think the reason being that there's something in it that reminds me a little bit of Spiritus Double Vanille, just a little bit, but mainly Coty, Chanson, de Vanilla. That's what this is reminding me of. Now that is a perfume you can get 100 mils for like between 10 and 15 pounds. I had a bottle of that. I didn't love it because it was so fruity with the vanilla, so I gave it to a colleague of mine, but it really is quite similar to Seven Virtues Vanilla Woods. So I would say if you can't get hold of this or you don't want to spend the money, but you really like the idea of like a fruity floral vanilla that almost has a slight, despite this being pear and rose, there's something about the pear in this that I really think gives it like a really juicy feel, and then almost a very slightly tropical feel. I don't know if I'm sounding mad. So in the top of the Chanson, actually, yeah, I mean, it makes sense when I look at these notes and I smell this perfume. So the Chanson de Vanilla, it has pear, blossom, and apple in the top. So you're getting that slightly peary floral smell. And then it's got cotton candy, vanilla, it's got jasmine, musk, amber. Yeah, I really think that might be a nice alternative. They're definitely not identical, but I really do think if you like this one, you might quite enjoy the Chanson. So yeah, that would be my suggestion for this one. This isn't one for me. It's okay. I don't love it. But yeah, it was interesting to smell it. I did wonder if that Chanson was a dupe of something. So last but not least, we have Aroma Concepts Ginger Babe. So I couldn't resist when I saw these notes, and it says that I think, well, it doesn't say, but I think this is probably a dupe for the Jo Malone Ginger Biscuit that comes out at Christmas. That's a limited edition, and obviously it's still a cologne, and it's not, I don't think it's an intense cologne from her. I think it is literally a cologne. And as with all Jo Malone, not all Jo Malone colognes to be fair, but a lot of the Jo Malone, the non-woody, I would say, Jo Malone colognes, it doesn't last very long, right? And it's quite an expensive perfume for one that doesn't last long. So this is a much cheaper perfume. You get like 100 ml maybe for 30-ish quid, maybe less. So Ginger Babe. This has notes of ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg in the top, caramel and hazelnut in the mid, and then the base notes vanilla and tonka bean. So this is interesting because I do get, especially when I first spray it, I do get a hint of something biscuity, but it's not hardcore biscuity. It's not like Sabrina Carpenter biscuity. It's not, it's more of that kind of nutty smell that gets a bit biscuity, but it's not aggressively, like, it doesn't smell like a stale towel is what I'm trying to say. And then it gets more and more spicy. That the cinnamon and the nutmeg really comes through. And it's very strong and nose tingly ginger, but I like it. This is a Christmassy scent to me. As I said, it's very light. It won't last very long, but there's something very fun about this one. There doesn't seem to be anything in this that is bothering me in terms of aroma chemicals, so that's also nice because that's not normally the case. But if I have a look at, let's see, are they exactly the same notes? Ginger, cinnamon and nutmeg, middle notes of caramel and hazelnut, base notes vanilla and tonka. So that's the ginger biscuit. Yeah, they're exactly the same. I think they're exactly the same notes. Or near as damn it. I'm not getting loads of caramel in this. There's a slight sweetness that I think is probably just taking the edge off the ginger. And, again, like, I'm not getting loads of vanilla either. So maybe the tonka and the caramel and the vanilla is just stopping it from being too kind of zingy and citrusy with that ginger. But I think this is really pretty. I really like this one. I think it could be a really, really good alternative if you don't want to spend Jo Malone prices. So this one I actually like. So there you have it, guys. Some of these are scrubbers. Some of them I'm just going to be passing on, and there's a couple that I'm going to keep. I mean, I do think probably my favourites from here are the Ginger Babe and the Paris Corner Taskeen Lactéa Divina. Although I do think that this guy, the Paris Corner Marshmallow blush, is also really good. It's just not really the kind of perfume that I would wear too often, purely because it is like so girly and sweet, and it kind of, it's very youthful, so it's not really the sort of thing I reach for all the time, being a 43-year-old woman. But not that you, that is no judgment on what anyone else wears. It's totally up to the individual. It's just not my personal style, is what I should say. There's nothing wrong with smelling like a strawberry milkshake when you're even in your 80s, if that's what you want. But yeah, so thanks very much for watching, and let me know how you feel about these down below. Let me know if you've got them or if you love or hate any of them. All right, guys. Bye.